Hi, welcome to Forgotten Legends of Sound. This is Ian, and I'm just kind of continuing the favorite albums of every year type of list. Something kind of fun to do. So this year is 1966, and it was cool in the last couple months listening to these albums a bit more, getting more familiar with them. Some I've known for years, and then other ones I'm a little bit newer to. So yeah, let's just get going. So first off, we got the Beach Boys with Pet Sounds, and this is one that I think is in my top 10. I don't know where it'll be, but we'll find out. Definitely a great record. Yeah. So let's put that one aside. And then we also have the Beatles with Revolver. This is an album that I used to think was really overrated back when I was younger. And only actually recently in the last year or so that I've actually started to really enjoy this album and love this album. Now I think it's one of their best, but I didn't always think that in the last like 15 years or so. But anyways, definitely in my top 10 as well. And then we also have the Byrds with Fifth Dimension. The Byrds is I've known them for a while. Yeah, and it's kind of cool just jumping more into their records and so yeah, because I grew up like listening mostly to the hits and stuff, so some of their albums and stuff are a bit newer to me. I think I've only heard this album in the last like couple years, and even then I didn't listen to it a ton. So I would say I got more familiar with it just more recently. Great record, might be in my top 10. We'll put it aside for now. And then we got Fresh Cream from Cream. This is one's actually kind of a surprise hit. I actually really like this album, but I'm not a huge blues rock fan, so I didn't think that I would enjoy it as much. But some of the vocal melodies and just some of the ideas on this album I think are really cool, especially songs like Dreaming. And I don't know, like there's just something about this record that I really like, and this one might be in the top 10. Geez, like literally every album so far is in top 10. Sorry, Donovan, this is the first one that's definitely not in the top 10. This is Donovan's Sunshine Superman. It's good, but I like the stuff that was before and after this more so. Um, the only song that I really love on this record is Celeste, and then the rest is kind of, some of it's pretty good, but some of it I could kind of take or leave it. So let's put this one aside. I definitely not in my top 10. And then we also got Bob Dylan with Blonde on Blonde. This was like a double record, so really long album. But honestly, this is probably one of my favorite Bob Dylan records, like so far going through his catalog. Um, I like a good handful of songs, but I Want You is like one of his best songs ever. Like, there's just something so good about the songwriting there. And yeah, maybe it's a bit too long, but I still really like this album, so it might be in my top 10. We'll put it there for now. And then we got the Four Seasons, Working My Way Back to You. This one's definitely in the top 10. I love this record, so yeah, we'll see where it ends up. And then we've got two records from Herman's Hermits. Hold On, which was only like a US release, and then, oh my goodness, I'm really blanking on the other one. Yikes. I can't remember the name of the other one. It's let me check my iPod real fast because I'm really blanking on this one. It's easy when you have the actual albums and stuff, then you could just have it right there. But yeah, very unprofessional, I know. Yeah, so yeah, not Hold On. Yeah, this is Both Sides of Herman's Hermits. And honestly, both of these Herman's Hermits albums, I like them. I think they're great, but I don't think they're top 10 material. So both sides of Herman's Hermits and Hold On. I think both sides was one that was released in the UK and the US, so that one's like more of a legit album. I don't know if people consider Hold On an album, but either way, they're both good, but they don't like stand out a ton. So yeah, and this is just like a box set collection. It was like the only way I could get all their albums like on CD. So, anyways, next up we got the Hollies with "Would You Believe." Yeah, and the Hollies. One problem is I like them. I think they're good, but they're just not. They don't have a lot of standout tracks, and this one is no different than some of the other ones before. So definitely not in my top 10. And then we've got For Certain Because from the Hollies. Again, it's good, but it's not something that I love or would go out of my way a ton to listen to. And then we have Jefferson Airplane Takes Off. This is their debut record. There's some good songs on here, but as a whole, I don't love it. Some good vocals, but the songwriting is not there. And then there's another song here, Let's Get Together, that is just their version of it. I just really do not like at all. Maybe it's because I'm so stuck on the other version. But anyways, but I mean, it's a good record, but nothing super remarkable. So not really in my top 10. And then we also have the Kinks with Face to Face. Man, this one actually is a pretty good record. I feel like it's on that borderline. It could be in the top 10, but I feel like I already have like a handful of stuff in there, so I don't know if it's going to make the cut. Whew. Yeah. Sunny Afternoon and Dandy are like the two tracks that most people know, and those are definitely highlights. But the whole album is pretty good. Yeah, not in my top 10, but it's still a great record. And then we got Gordon Lightfoot with his first album, Lightfoot. This album is freaking awesome. And this is just like a collection that has his first 4 albums on CD. So that's why I'm holding up this instead of like a vinyl of Lightfoot or anything. But yeah, this album is just really good. And I grew up with Gordon Lightfoot, like listening mostly to Gord's Gold 1 and 2 when I was like a kid and stuff. And my dad was like a huge Gordon Lightfoot fan, so he'd play their music a ton, or excuse me, he'd play his music a ton. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to going through his entire discography again, because there's a handful of records that I really love, but then there's a few, especially like the 80s stuff, that I'm not that familiar with. But yeah, Gordon Lightfoot's awesome. His debut album's amazing, so definitely in my top 10. And then we got The Lovin' Spoonful with Daydream. This is a good record. There's a few of those songs that don't do much for me, that I'm not a big fan of, but as a whole, it's good. And also, You Didn't Have to Be So Nice is like one of my favorite songs from the 60s. I just love that song. There's something about really catchy, really like sweet songwriting, kind of like that. Similar to a lot of the Motown stuff, you know. I don't know. There's just something about that I really, really like a lot. So yeah, not in my top 10, but it's a good record. However, Hums of the Lovin' Spoonful though, this one might be in my top 10. This album is just better than their first like couple by a large margin for me. Also, Summer in the City is just a blast. Coconut Grove is great. Yeah, Full Measure is pretty good. Yeah, there's a Nashville Cats is the only like goofy song, but it's okay. It's not like the worst thing ever, but it's it's whatevs. I like Darling Companion. Yeah, this is just a great record. But yeah, I remember listening to Summer in the City when I was a kid and just being like enamored with that song. So this one might be in the top 10. Lovin' Spoonful, Hums of the Lovin' Spoonful, and then we got the Monkees with their debut record. I think Monkees are kind of underrated. This album's pretty freaking awesome. The Monkees are kind of like a blend of the Beatles and Herman's Hermits, because they have little elements of both. They have some of the sweet vocal style of Herman's Hermits, but then they also have some of the kind of more rock and roll vibe, I guess, of like the Beatles and stuff, especially, the first like 5 years of the Beatles. And there's a lot of great songs on here. Last Train to Clarksville is great. Gonna Buy Me a Dog is actually like hilarious. I don't know how you can listen to that song without putting a smile on your face. Yeah, I'll Be True to You is awesome. There's the theme from the Monkees is well known. Yeah, this is a really great record. It might be in my top 10. We'll see. We'll see what we have to cut. The Good and the Bad and the Ugly from Ennio Morricone. Yeah, this is definitely a top 10 album. Ennio Morricone is probably my favorite composer of all time. Just timeless melodies, like he's really creative at making these very distinct sounds. I don't know if you could hear anything that's as original sounding as like the title track, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly title track. And the trio is great. The Ecstasy of Gold is great. The Story of a Soldier is awesome. This is a great record. So I'm not a huge movie soundtrack guy, but there's a handful of them that I really love, and that's one of them. And then we got the Mothers of Invention with Freak Out. This has some moments that I like, but as a whole, it might be one of my least favorite albums of this year. Mostly because the last couple tracks are really long, and it's mostly them just goofing around and talking and stuff, and it's just that kind of stuff gets on my nerves. So that always, every time I finish the album, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm just kind of like, come on, guys. But There's some good tracks for sure, but as a whole, definitely not in my top 10. And like, I applaud Frank Zappa and them for, trying to think outside of the box and making music that was a little bit more different with humor and whatnot. But that album just doesn't click as much for me. Then we got Aftermath with the Rolling Stones. This is a great record, and I think the American version has like includes Paint It Black, Under My Thumb, some of those. Like, I think British records were not inclined to include singles because they wanted to sell the singles alone and then the records alone or something like that. Whereas I think the American releases usually would have the singles on the record to try to sell the record more. I'm you can fact check me on that, but yeah, this is a great record. It's another one that's kind of in the top, like it's on the edge of the top 10. So I don't know. We'll put it in the top 10 for now, but I don't know if it'll stay there. And then we got Simon and Garfunkel with Sounds of Silence. This is a masterpiece album. I love this record. I'm not sure why. I hear a lot of accolades for some folk artists, especially like Bob Dylan and stuff. But I think Paul Simon is one of the greatest like folk songwriters like of all time. And that's just my opinion. Just some of the songs that he's written are amazing, and him with Art Garfunkel's vocals is just magic. Honestly, there's not a weak track on this entire record. Everything I love. Maybe Blessed might be the one of the weakest, but like as a whole, like I love We've Got a Groovy Thing Going, I'm a Rock, Leaves That Are Green is amazing. Somewhere They Can't Find Me, Kathy's song is beautiful. Yeah, this is might be number one. We'll see. And then we got Simon and Garfunkel, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. Another great record. This one has I like it a little bit less than the previous record. There's a few of these like rock songs that don't do it, like the Big Bright Green Pleasure Machine, and then also A Simple Desultory Philippic or whatever. Like some of those songs just don't do anything for me, but Flowers Never Bend with the Rainfall is one of like their best songs ever. So I love that one. And also closing with Silent Night with like the radio going like is a cool way to end the opening track is great. Homeward Bound is amazing. So this is definitely in the top 10. We'll see where it lands. And then we got Nina Simone with Let It All Out. I thought this was a great record. I'm new to Nina Simone. Like I've only gotten into her in this last year or so. But she's definitely a great musician, artist, all that. This one doesn't stick out a ton to me, but I still like it. Yeah, the Ballad of Hollis Brown, that was like a Bob Dylan song that she covered. Don't know which one is better. I think I like Bob Dylan's better, but overall, like it's still a great record. Not in my top 10, but it's still good. And then we also have Nina Simone with Wild as the Wind. This is another record that's good. I kind of like it about the same as the last one. Although Wild as the Wind, that song is fantastic. And on that previous record, like I can't remember which song it is, but there's one where there's some awesome piano playing on one of these, and I can't remember which song it is, but either way, great record as well. Not in my top 10, but Wild as the Wind is still great stuff. Then we got the Supremes with I Hear a Symphony, and I love the Supremes. Supremes are just awesome, and Diana Ross, her vocals is just some of the like when I think of greatest vocalists of the 60s, Diana Ross and probably Frankie Valli are probably like my top two. Like, I don't know, I just love them. And what's funny is I used to not really care as much for like tracks like Yesterday, or there was another cover they had. Oh yeah, Unchained Melody, A Lover's Concerto. Toys version is like the iconic version. But the more I listened to the album, the more I wasn't comparing them as much to like the originals. And plus the songs that they do on here that's not like more popular with like an original artist or whatever, like are still fantastic stuff. My World is Empty Without You is awesome. I Hear a Symphony is amazing. Yeah, this one's probably in my top 10. We'll see where it goes. And same thing with Supreme's A Go Go. This is another fantastic record. Yeah, You Can't Hurry Love is like the big one. I don't care about their I Can't Help Myself, Sugar Pie, and like because the original like Four Tops version is so iconic that it's just hard to But this one is still really good. This one's kind of probably on the edge for me when it comes to favorite like top 10 stuff for 66. But Supremes A Go Go is a fantastic record. We'll put it there for now, but we'll figure it out. And then we got the Temptations with Getting Ready. Temptations, I'm also fairly new to. I knew like a couple of their hits, but never really like delved too much into their albums. And yeah, this is a good record. I don't love it though. I think I liked the previous two better, but it's still a great record, just not in my top 10. And then we got The Who with this is a quick one, or Happy Jack is what it was called in the U.S. This album actually like keeps growing. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. And this is kind of on the edge of top 10. There's like a quick one while he's away is awesome. It's like 9 minutes, but it's fantastic. Boris the Spider is really creative, especially for the time period. Like it just sounds so unique and different. And I don't know, there's just like some weird risks that they take on this album that I really like. So we'll put it there for now, but I may have to cut it. We'll see. And then we got Dionne Warwick. This is the Here, what is it called? Here Where There Is Love. This album didn't make too much of an impression on me. I kind of like some of her previous albums more. It still is great. Like there's some good songs on it and stuff. Like it's nice. It's a nice record, but it's not, something that really gripped me like some of her earlier works, but still good, just not in my top 10. So how many do we have to cut so far? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, geez Louise, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize I was putting that many aside, but so I've got to cut some stuff. I think The Who is probably going to get cut. Probably the Supremes A Go Go is going to get cut. Let's see. Probably Rolling Stones Aftermath. I'd probably cut from the top 10. I've got to cut, 6 of them? Jeez. I think Bob Dylan's Blonde on Blonde I'd probably cut from the top 10, as well as like Lovin' Spoonful with Hums of the Lovin' Spoonful. Let's see if I've got this down to 10. 1, 2, 3. This is the painful part. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So one more. Whew. Man. No, we ain't cutting no Roaring Life, man. Honestly, I thought it would be in my top 10, but I think I might cut the Byrds' Fifth Dimension out. Yeah. It's still a fantastic record. It's so freaking close, but I'd probably cut that one. Number 10, though, is probably an easier pick for me. No, let's cut the Monkees out instead. I hate to cut any of these out, to be honest, but let's cut the Monkees out. So my number 10 for 1966, and hopefully this format of doing it this way is fun for you guys. It's fun for me. So yeah, the number 10 pick for me is probably the Byrds with Fifth Dimension. Mr. Spaceman is I remember listening to that one when I was like more young, like probably in high school or so, and really loving that song. Yeah, this is just a fantastic, of course, 8 Miles High is the one that, people usually acclaim, and it is a fantastic song. Yeah, just a great record. So number 10, the Byrds, Fifth Dimension. Let's see, number 9 though is probably Cream with Fresh Cream. Yeah, this is the one that I'm surprised the most about. I really enjoy this record a lot. Yeah, Sleepy Time. That's great. I Feel Free. Yeah, great record. That's number 9. Number 8. Let's see. Number 8 is probably this. Oh man, yeah, probably the Supremes. I Sing a Symphony. This is a fantastic record, but yeah, I don't think it's up there with some of these other ones, but still awesome stuff. Number 7, honestly, I think it might be the Beach Boys. So Pet Sounds, I know it's like iconic. I know like it's definitely deeply influential and everything, and it's got some amazing highs too, like Wouldn't It Be Nice, God Only Knows, some of those, even some of the other ones too are great. I know There's an Answer is good. I don't even mind Sloop John B. Like I know a lot of people hate that one, but I don't really mind that one. Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder. But there's just something about it. Like, I feel like the album doesn't flow as well. Like, I feel like there's some like weaker tracks that keep me from like falling in love with this album. I still think it's a fantastic record, but I feel like it could have been better. I don't know. So for those who probably disagree, anyways, number 7, Pet Sounds from the Beach Boys. Number 6, I think I'm gonna do. Man, let's do Simon & Garfunkel with Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. Fantastic record. I've already kind of said my thoughts on it, but yeah, number 6, Simon and G. Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. Great record. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see. Number 5. I think I'm gonna do the Beatles with Revolver, and let's do Gordon Lightfoot. Let's do Gordon Lightfoot with Lightfoot. This is a fantastic. No, man, dude, this is so freaking hard. Jeez. Okay, let's do Ennio Morricone. The Good and the Bad and the Ugly soundtrack. It is a phenomenal piece of music, but the only problem is sometimes I feel like I have to be in the mood to really like listen to it. I think I'm usually more of a pop-centered kind of listener, but it pains me to put this at 5 just because this is a really, dude, man. I don't know. Let's do Gordon Lightfoot with Lightfoot because this is a phenomenal record. I love this record. Honestly, these top 5 records to me are really close in quality, so it's really hard. Like, just because one is 1 and one is 5, like, they're all really close to me. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do Lightfoot. There's some great songs on here though. Early Morning Rain is awesome. I'm Not Saying. The Way I Feel is awesome. There's a lot of good stuff on here. Ribbon to Darkness. Yeah, really good stuff. So number 5, Gordon Lightfoot with Lightfoot. Number 4. Man, I've been really enjoying this Beatles album like in the last year, and I don't really know exactly why. I think I'm gonna go The Good, the Bad, the Ugly though. Number 4, Ennio Morricone, masterpiece, composer, masterpiece artist. But I have to be in the mood for a lot of film soundtrack stuff, so that holds me back. But when I'm in the mood, this is like perfect. This could be like number 1, So number 4, Ennio Morricone, Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Number 3 is the Beatles with Revolver. Fantastic record. It's got Taxman is a great opener. Eleanor Rigby is awesome. I like I'm Only Sleeping as well. The only track I don't care that much for is Yellow Submarine. I think that song's kind of dumb. Like, it's just kind of, I don't know. Here, There, and Everywhere is awesome. For No One is good. Gotta Get You Into My Life is great. Tomorrow Never Knows. I really love the cameo of that song in the Mad Men TV show. Like, that's awesome when, they're like talking Surrender to the Void, and Don's like, yeah, like, F this crowd. We ain't listening to this garbage or whatever. But this is a fantastic record, and I feel like it flows really well, like between the songs and stuff. Like, it's got some good variety to it. Definitely a step up from Rubber Soul from the prior year. Anyways, number 3, the Beatles. Number 2 is probably the Four Seasons, Working My Way Back to You. I love the Four Seasons. And this has some, like, Working My Way Back to You is awesome. The ending track, Everybody Knows My Name, is an awesome way to close the record. I love that song. Coming Up in the World is awesome. Can't Get Enough of You Baby is great. Pity, Living Just for You. Beggar's Parade is awesome. Like, I don't know. Like, this is like one of probably their best records. But at the same time, I know that Four Seasons is kind of an acquired taste with people. So for me, I love it, but I don't know, give it a shot. It's a fantastic record. And number 1 is Simon & Garfunkel, Sounds of Silence. And I feel like I kind of already knew that this one was going to be number 1. It's like 30 minutes. It's basically just perfect. As far as like folk records go, this is probably in my top 5. I just love this record. Every song is amazing. April Come She Will. Blessed is the only like slightly weaker track, but everything is freaking awesome on here. And closing with I'm a Rock, man, come on. Like, So, anyways, that's the my top 10 albums of 1966. Hopefully, it wasn't boring. Hopefully, it was entertaining to some degree. I'm gonna try to do these like a little bit quicker instead of going as deep, maybe because one of the earlier videos was like 40 minutes, and I was just like, geez, that's a long time. Especially because like the more I get into like 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, like there's hundreds of records that that me and my twin brother have, and it's kind of like, dude, like I can't just talk about a single year for hours and dive deep in every single album. But for the 60s, I feel like I can because there's not as many records, so I can kind of say a little bit more. But anyways, I hope it was enjoyable for you guys, and have a good day.